Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here with Liz Trotter. This is Smart Business Moves. And this is Monday of somewhere in the middle of January 2021.
The first thing that came to my mind, Tom, you're gonna laugh when you said this is Monday. I was like, what? It's not Monday.
It is. It
Oh,
is.
how
Sure
is
it
it only
is.
Monday? Oh my gosh, I completely feel like it has to be at least Wednesday. It can't be only Monday. Oh my goodness. I'm not gonna make it through the week, Tom. I'm not
I'm
gonna
glad.
make it.
I'm really glad it's Monday. If it's Wednesday, I'd be really depressed because I
Yeah.
at least I have a chance of catching up. If it was Wednesday, I would just might as well quit and wait till next week.
It's not happening. Some weeks are like that, I gotta say, more than others for sure. Uh, apparently I'm going into the week kind of in that mode because I really felt like I've done way more than Monday already. Well, I guess it's been productive day. I have to give myself that.
Yeah, I'm not. A lot of motion and some movement. Got some things done. Not as There's a lot to be done though. There's a lot to
Yeah,
be done.
we got a lot of our MMA members here. Linda, Denise, Rosemary. Hi, y'all. I know what Linda and Denise y'all are thinking is, wow, she looks good, right? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah.
Mhm.
It's been a rough day. Thanks, Denise. Appreciate it. Hey, Steph, we were just talking about you today. I did not know that your daughter was walking across the country for Time in a Bottle. That's kind of amazing. If you want to share a little bit about that, I don't know if you can. It's a problem with these Ring Central calls versus like Zoom or something, but yeah, I'd love to hear about that. That's awesome. Hey, Trisha. I haven't seen you in a while either. Wow, lots of people coming on Mondays. You guys are all ready to make some smart business moves, huh? It's awesome. Hey, Debbie.
So, would it make more sense if we did these like in Zoom or something where people could share more? Uh,
I feel like it would so that
sometimes,
we can talk
sometimes.
to people.
I mean, it's nice. Live streaming this way, has some advantages, but it has some shortcomings too.
Yeah, it's true. Is that you, Miss Sarah, Facebook user?
Opportunity
Follow
Monday, Facebook, anonymous Facebook user.
opportunity. Oh yeah, yeah, there. Follow at the Golden Road. When it says at the Golden Road, what does that mean? Is that like Instagram or you just type at the Golden Road? Sorry, not techie. Oh, it's Robin. Hey, Robin. Um, we'd love to hear
Clubhouse.
about that. What does that mean?
That's the
Clubhouse.
new. That's the new social media platform.
I
You're
am
not a
not dialed
Clubhouse
in.
guy.
I am not. I'm not dialed in. Is it cool, Denise? Can you talk? Like, would we be able to talk with you guys? You wouldn't just have to type? Is that sort of the deal there?
Actually, I
TikTok and Instagram.
somebody sent me an invite, and I'm in there. I just haven't played around enough to figure out what to do with it yet. But you do. You do make rooms and stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, maybe we have to look into that. Good job throwing that out there, Denise. You know, that's what Tom's doing right now.
Oh, I'm kind of checking
Like,
it out.
oh, she says it's great. She says it is, yes, and you can talk and it's great. Okay, awesome. Oh, okay, stuff. It's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. Okay. Oh, there's Robin. He's got his profile back again. Now we can see who he is. Any news for PPP, Tom? Instagram. Oh, okay, awesome. Oh, that's great stuff. Thank you. So you
Yeah.
guys can go and look at that. Steph, how long have you been? Did you get a package from someone over the weekend? I bet you did, or I bet she wouldn't be saying that.
Don't know if I did, and depends where it was sent to, if I had it yet or not. maybe the office. I haven't been to the office in a while. If there's a package for me at the office, I might have to ask about that.
Oh, Denise applied through Blue Vine. Okay, waiting. Awesome. Yep, sent to the office, Tom.
Okay. I don't know, but I'll check on that.
Oh, I know what it is. No hurry, right, Denise? If it's what I'm thinking, there's no hurry for him to go there, though, right? He shouldn't like make a special trip.
It's like,
He's
I'm out of here,
got a little bit of time until
guys.
he's
In
going
the
to need this
office.
thing.
I'll see you tomorrow.
I think you might have a little bit of time until you're going to use it. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Steph, I was asking about time in a bottle. How long have you been doing that? Okay, so yeah, I do know what it is. Don't make a special trip out there, Tom, because it's not something that you'll be using like today or something.
Okay.
Look at your text. Oh, Tom, something's on your text there too. David sent you something. David sent you something.
Yeah, David's got another project for me.
All right. Is there a double G in that, Leslie? I mean, Stephanie, Instagram.com, the double G Golden Road, just to make sure. Is it a typo or is it supposed to be double G's? And okay, I was asking about PPP info. Wow. Oh,
Yes, it was a yes.
this was our 10-year anniversary, which is why we did the pivot with the walk. Oh, nifty, nifty. It's supposed to be double G. Okay, good to know. Interesting. I didn't know it was, wow, 10 years already. That is just crazy how time flies by. So anybody that hasn't seen what Steph does with her Time in a Bottle charity that she does, go check out her page. Will that link that you put on there, Steph, will it tell them about it, or should you give us something that they could see it better, or could they just look for maybe Time in a Bottle? I don't know. Interesting, very cool stuff that she does with that you guys might like to look at.
I don't think that this link is clickable. Nope.
Oh, have to copy it and paste it? Is that what you mean by that, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really just copy it either. You pretty much have to hand jam it in. Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I rarely get it right when I do that.
If this were Zoom, it would be clickable.
Tom's really hot on getting off of Facebook Live, getting something better. All right, so back to my keep asking about the PPP, and then I go off on another tangent. But wondering if you've heard anything new in the PPP world.
Just some banks are starting to take, like I see, was it Denise that said that she applied through Blue Vine?
Yep.
If you are new to Blue Vine, they're taking your application. If you applied through Blue Vine the first time, at least Friday when we were looking at it, they said they were having to make some changes before they could take your application.
Okay.
But more banks, I presume, are taking it. The ones that we typically do work with currently aren't. Just crunching a lot of numbers, playing the math to figure out what we qualify for, what we don't qualify for, between the tax credits and the PPP. Trying to get guidance on some things. Still a lot more questions than there are answers.
All right, looks like she's giving us another. C asks, what's wrong with YouTube Live? No clue. I don't know anything about YouTube Live, so.
Well, we're streaming this on YouTube. It's a live stream going to YouTube as well. Maybe some of the limitations are through StreamYard, which is the platform we use to do this. We're looking at different options, different technology. So we'll figure out some ways to make this a little more interactive.
It looks like a lot of people have applied Community Bank. Rosemary got confirmation that hers was submitted. Yay! Wow, Rosemary. Just as my folks can't just go to YouTube and forego Facebook.
They can.
Yeah, there are a lot of different places they can go. They can go.
You can go to YouTube and go to the Cleaning Profit Builders page. We're streaming live there at the moment, or you can go to YouTube and go to the Cleaning Business Today YouTube page. We're streaming live there too.
So lots of different places to go. All right, well, we should get started because, we never get done fast.
No.
All right, y'all, we're still talking. So first, before we get going, we're still talking, of course, about reducing that LDPR number and getting it to go down. It's a red number. But I would like to know if anybody is expecting to hear something specific on this call today. If you have something that you're expecting to hear, expecting to talk about, please let us know what that is. We are trying to make sure that we give you guys what you're looking for, at least what you're expecting on these calls. So what we think we're talking about is hiring and orientation today, right, Tom?
That's what we think we're talking about. That was what we were thinking that we were Friday. That's what we thought we were going to be talking about today.
Yep.
And honestly, I guess that is what we're going to be talking about, because that's what, unless we need to call an audible, again, we talk about whatever we want to.
Well, we'll be talking about that for sure. But if you're expecting us to be talking about something else, or if you were thinking you were going to be seeing something else, we might do that also. Maybe. I'm not saying we will, but we might. So let me know what that might be if it's something different. Let's see. C says, I thought you were looking for an alternative. Yeah, we're looking for something that is more, instead of us just streaming out, something that is more back and forth, where y'all are able to talk with us instead of just type in, and then we have to read to everybody what you've written. Right, Tom?
Yeah, more interactive.
Yeah.
And I guess Zoom's an example, but that gets, the mechanics of doing that gets a little bit wonky too. It's not as easy as just going to Facebook and going to a page that's already in your stream.
All right, looks like Leslie's trying to give us another little link. Is that one clickable?
Stephanie is. No, none of these are clickable, but link tr.ee.
I posted a link tree for you, Liz. I don't know what a link tree is. I don't know what a link tree is. I don't know what the other thing that Denise said was on Clubhouse. Man, I am just feeling out of the loop today in a really big way. Are you figuring out what link tree is? Ring Central. Yeah. Ring Central is what we typically use, which is similar to Zoom.
Oh, so this is like the whole 9 yards here. You want to go to a video, YouTube, swag, website.
Oh, this is nifty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says it's a link to every platform for the walk. Okay, nifty. So people can look at all of the different things. I love this stuff. This is amazing. I can't wait to look at this. Oh, look at your cute little daughter. Oh, hey, Grace. She doesn't look much different than last time I saw her. Oh, this is fun. Yay. Oh, I can't wait to go and look at this.
Who's the dog?
I don't know. Yeah, is the dog with them? Looks like maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I saw some video where the dog was. Oh, look, the dog's in the shopping cart, or the cart there.
In the little fun cart, because the dog can't walk as far as the people. I love it. 2 dogs.
No, this is cool.
Oh yeah, now I can see. He's holding 2 dogs, one in each arm. Oh, so cute. The picture's really small on my screen. All right, y'all, we'll go check it out because I think you will really love what you see. when you're thinking about how you can set yourself apart from other companies, here's a great example. And today we're going to be talking about meaning, one of the things that we are going to be. So this is great timing for me to find out about this today. I'm trying to remember who told me about it. Oh, Amy Wiggs King told us about this, or told me about this today. Okay, sorry, over to you, Tom.
Okay, well, we're going to be drilling on loaded direct payroll to revenue, the same number we have been for the last 2 weeks, maybe 3, which is part of the bigger, KPI model with the green numbers that we want to make go up and the red numbers that we want to make go down. And out of the red numbers, loaded direct payroll to revenue is one of the very important ones. And that's why we're spending so much time on it. And we want to just see kind of where we are with it. There's 2 ways you can do that. You can make your payroll go down and your revenue go up, or a combination of the two. And to make your loaded direct payroll go down, you can reduce your labor load. We've talked about that. And we're really on training expense. And a big part of the training expense is who you're hiring and how you're hiring them. Because if you make really good hires, you can afford to invest a lot in the people that you're hiring, but you're not training a ton of people because you're hiring good people and they're going to stay because A, that is a good hire, and B, you're making a huge investment, or you're making a bigger investment in the people that you are hiring. So it makes it for a better place to work. So
that's what we're talking about.
Do what?
And that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about. And, we've got some cool stuff in the pipeline because we're going to be talking about productivity and efficiency. And on the revenue side, there's things that we do there to make that go up in the weeks ahead. Got a little bit of feedback about these are KPI discussions. How come we aren't doing more spreadsheets and crunching more numbers and showing all the fancy formulas and graphs? And where appropriate, we will, but what I've observed a lot of times is KPIs is just has the risk of being just an academic exercise where, look, I can get the arithmetic right, but doing the arithmetic right without tying it into the actual physical stuff that's happening in your business that drives those numbers really makes it kind of an academic exercise. It's a moot point, right? So yep. Really learning how to use KPIs in a way to drive results in your business gets down to what are the things happening in your business and how do you manage your business and how do you do the things, make the things happen within your business to get the outcomes that you need to make, in this case, this red number go down. So it's, the good management part of it's a lot more involved than just knowing what the number is. It's knowing what to do in order to get the number to go where you want it to go.
So for those of you that like to read, you might look at the book for the 4 disciplines of execution. If you type into Google, you can just type in the number 4, the letter D, and the letter X, 4DX. That's sort of the acronym that's used for it, and talks a lot about lag measures and then lead activities. And lag measures are what happen a lot of times when you're just looking at spreadsheets. You're getting all the information about what happened, but after the fact, there's like, okay, this is what the lag is. This is what you ended up with, and there's not a lot of action that happens at that. Oh yeah, awesome. At that stage of the game. A lot of times people are just left feeling like, okay. But the lead activities are all about the things that you can do to impact those numbers, to change them, to drive them up or drive them down, depending on if they're red or green. So this book, and there's a summary of the 4DX book as well that you might want to check out if you're not a reader. If you're like, I don't like to read, check out the summary.
Is it out here?
It's very short. Yep, that's it. doesn't have very many pages to it, but it gives you the basic ideas in a pretty good way. The people that I know that have read it are like, well, I wish I would have just read that first. So, and then if you love it, you want to drill down, you can read the whole book. Okay, so I don't know if you saw there, Tom, no real need to plug this or anything, but I thought it was cool. We were talking about Amy Wiggs King was the one that told me about Grace walking across the country for the February. Yeah, and Amy Wiggs King actually paid for that. Steph said that she paid for a hotel and for food for them while they were in her town over the week.
Oh, cool.
I know. I thought that was great. Oh, okay. Debbie, is it better to have more part-time or full-time workers? What do you think, Tom?
I don't know if there is
better is the tricky word right there, Debbie.
Yeah. There's pros and cons to both, and situationally, having some part-time workers gives you some flexibility oftentimes, because part-time workers by definition usually have more flexibility in terms of the number of hours that they get each week. A lot of times part-time workers, and a lot of it depends upon what your definition of part-time worker is. There's some people that say, I can only work 3 days a week, but I can be kind of flexible on that. So if you let me know a week in advance, we can kind of move that schedule around. So it doesn't always have to be the exact same days and the exact same times each week. If you think back when we were all younger and we had those jobs working at the supermarket or the fast food restaurant or whatever, our schedules typically changed from one week to the next, right? We were part-time workers. So it's nice having that flexibility. In terms of return on human capital, though, if all your cleaning professionals are full-time, you're hiring fewer people and you're training fewer people, right? If you're making an investment in training somebody, at that point, the more hours they work, the more of a return you're getting off of that investment. So, you can argue both sides of that. It just depends upon where you are. And I guess, so maybe the ultimate solution is having a blend of the two, giving you some flexibility with the part-time on the peaks and valleys, and having a number of full-time people that you're maximizing the return you're getting off of the investment that you made in them.
I think this is kind of a perfect time for this question too, Debbie. Good job. Because one of the things that we're talking about is we want to not focus so much on the amount of money that we're paying out. We want to focus on how many people that we're paying that money to. So if we're trying to reduce the number of people that we're paying, we need them to be full-time. But this might be an example of when it makes sense to pay, where we do pay attention to the amount of pay because we want a little bit of that flexibility. Additionally, those part-time people we pay less for them. We don't usually give them as many benefits. They might not, for sure, they're not going to be getting any overtime pay, maybe holiday pay, etc. Now, those things are not the most important things. Again, we'd rather pay those things out to people that are working full time and staying with our company long term. Better to pay a little bit more and keep people. And we can get stuck in this idea of, but it's better to have part-time people because we don't have to pay the holiday pay or, whatever the other expenses are. So I think it's a great question. Most of the companies that I know love to have some part-time people, but not too many. You got to find a good blend there. Part-time people are also really, really nice for floaters to fill in when people can't work. Somebody calls out they're sick, especially during COVID times, right? I don't feel well. I think I need to go home and take a COVID test. Now they're going to be out for 3 days because they don't feel well. So it's nice to have a part-time person that can fill in. Not sure if that's exactly the definition you're using for part-time, but I hope we gave you enough different answers around that to sort of help you decide what's better for you. Again, the key word there, the tricky word, not keyword, tricky word there is better. better in what way? All right.
One thing that I just remembered, Friday Robin wanted to see a spreadsheet for tracking the recruiting.
Yeah.
Do you want to take a look at that now before we
Yes.
get too deep?
Yes, please. Robin, you still on here? If you are, because if he's not able to look right now, Tom, I want to maybe catch it later, but I know this is real data in here.
Well, he can come back later. This will be
Facebook Live. Facebook Live. Yep. All right. Good job, Tom.
Okay. So, and Liz, you can help me with this, but from what I recall, I was able to find an example where you've got the various days of the week. So every one of these rows is a day in a week. In this example, we've got 4 different recruiting channels.
Yep.
Craigslist, Facebook, Indeed, and I guess all other. And we're tracking what we're spending. And maybe this isn't an excellent example. Well, we got a little bit of Indeed spending here, but for the most part, this was an example with Craigslist. And so for the month, $525 was spent in Craigslist and $421 in Indeed. And what we do here is track the pipeline in terms of what we're actually making happen in these various channels. So prospects, Craigslist we got 98, Indeed we got 86, and we'll follow the flow through, and then we'll get down here to the percentages and the dollars. A prospect would be defined as anybody who's expressed an interest in a job for your company. You don't even necessarily have an application from them yet. Maybe they just hit you up on Facebook saying, hey, I might be interested in a job with you guys. Tell me a little bit. An applicant would be somebody who actually applied for you. It might be, if you're using an applicant tracking system, Snag, I guess, is an example. There are others that don't come to mind at the moment. You might have an online application process. So they fill it online, fill it in person. So if they fill out an application, that would be that number there in that case. Or for all of them, it would have been like 111 applicants for the month. A candidate would be somebody that meets some basic requirements. If you have age requirements, driver's license requirements, are you afraid of pet?
We talked about requirements on Thursday. So those ones that are actually true requirements, not just things that you're looking for or you want. So your candidates would be those people that are going to meet those basic requirements.
If somebody says, I'm afraid of dogs, then that might be a disqualifier.
Yeah. Or I'm 14, but I really want a job.
Out of the candidates, you're going to interview some of them. So you see how the numbers get smaller. This is like a funnel, right? And each one of these is kind of like a wall we're crawling over. In this case, we interviewed 28 people, hired 11. We're doing this by channel. We're breaking it by channel. So like on Craigslist, 72% of the applicants out of the prospects were actually considered to be, or actually applicants rather. Out of the applicants, 87% of them were candidates. Out of the candidates, 33% were actually interviewed. Hired to interviewed. Interesting. More people. Hired to interview. Out of the people that were interviewed, 38% of them were actually hired. Those percentages were lower for Indeed. You can see that only 2 people were hired out of the 86, where 8 were hired out of the 96 on Craigslist. So all these percentages give you some insight as to what type of outcomes are you getting through your various recruiting channels? And this puts it in terms of dollar amount. The total spend was $525 for Craigslist. Get it, for the various levels, prospects, $536 for a prospect, all the way down to the bottom. I'll just skip to the punchline, $65 per hire, where on Indeed, it was $210 per hire, right?
That's a big difference too.
Now, this data that we're looking at is 2016. So if you're looking at this saying, who recruits on Craigslist, that doesn't work for me. It used to work for, in 2016, it probably worked better for some of us than it does in 2021, right?
Yep.
These numbers will look different. That's one of the other things I guess we've talked about is what works today might not work tomorrow. What didn't work yesterday might work today. You just don't know.
Which is why you want to track these numbers, because a lot of times what happens is you will get stuck in this idea also of thinking that something's not working. The reason why I like to track all of these too, prospects, applicants, candidates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is because a lot of times what will happen is we'll get an idea about what's working when the reality is much different than that. We might feel like, wow, we're getting so many candidates from this one channel. For example, Facebook. We had this with Facebook not that long ago with Castle Keepers. We're like, oh my gosh, we are getting so many candidates from Facebook. This is the channel. Absolutely. We need to be putting more money in there. But when it got all the way down to the number of dollars spent for each person that we ended up actually hiring and staying, and another spreadsheet, we keep track of how long they stay, that we're not sharing right now. That one's too hard to explain. Y'all have to create that yourself. But on that, what we found was, wow, yes, we get a ton of people coming through Facebook. Yes, they suck up a ton of resources, and we say they get sent through our whole cycle. And you know what? In 3 months, none of the people that applied are still with us. What? That is not good. So, you have to be tracking all of this stuff to be able to figure out what actually makes sense and where you're actually getting the best return on your dollars. All right. Is that what you were looking for, Robin? Hopefully. If not, it's all we got. So the correct answer is yes. Yes, Liz. I love that. Seriously, if it's not, if you're looking for something different, let me know. All right. That's great, Tom. I'm glad you pulled that out. I told Tom today. Oh, I totally forgot about that.
But I had
Anya, I think your name is pronounced, I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with Anya. She says more part-time definitely for her. Okay, awesome. Yes. Why did they leave after 3 months or within 3 months, right, Robin? We do have a fancy dancy little chart that where we keep track of how long people last and why they left. And we'll share that later. Like I'm right now. We'll see if Liz will actually get this together or not. Why they left. We have a handy dandy little chart that tells you the chances are good that if the people left in this time frame, they left for these reasons. If they left in this time frame, so if they didn't show up for the first day, this is why. If they stayed for 3 days, but then they were gone, anywhere from 1 to 3 days, but then they left, probably for this reason. If it was they stayed for a week, but then they left, probably for this other reason. So we have a handy dandy little chart that I'll dig out and post for you guys, or I'll have Tom post for y'all tomorrow. Okay, so let's get to hiring and orientation because it's already 2:37 or 5:37 where y'all are. All right, so hiring. There are a lot of different parts to hiring, and a lot of times we think, well, it's just hiring them. But I wanted to talk about some of the different things that you're doing when you're hiring people that are contributing to whether or not they're going to be long-term hires. Remember, we talk a lot about 2 days or a year. Are they going to be here for a short time? I'll get that for you, Robin. I'm going to just circle it on my thing here. I got some big stuff I'm working on this week, so don't want to get off track. Okay, so when we're talking about hiring, so the first thing I wanted to point out here is once we get people that we're hiring and we're getting them into our company, this is where we start really talking about the MMMA, the matter, meaning, measure, and accountability. So this is where those things really start becoming more and more important. And I want to talk a little bit about those within each one of these areas, hiring and also within orientation. So hiring, what are some of the things that y'all do when you're going to hire somebody? Part-time, because if something happens, someone will get sick or left, I will have another to cover. Then it's more easy to find a perfect candidate that's my opinion. My name is Anna, but I use Anya. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Thanks. I'll know to pronounce it correctly from now on. Thank you, Anna. Or Anna, I'm not sure. Okay. Still not exactly positive. We're getting there though. All right. And so that actually is a great example of why you need to decide for your company what is going to work. I think that we tend to think that we would prefer to have, would you say we would prefer to have like 90-10, Tom? 90% full-time, 10% part?
Certainly, majority of your people you'd want them to be full time. The larger you get, the more full time. If you're really small, then you'd probably have a ratio that might even be closer to 50-50.
You can be much more flexible when you're small too, in all areas. Everything, flexibility wise, everything is easier when you're small because you're just right there. Everything's at a granular level, so you can move things around on the fly. Some things, it's easier to move around, like when you're a little bit bigger. For example, once you have over 10 employees or more, if somebody calls out, it doesn't feel as catastrophic as it does when you have one employee and they call out. That's 100% of my workforce. It's a different situation then. But once you get 10, that starts getting a little bit easier. But for the most part, you can be more flexible, more nimble. Maybe nimble is the word that I'm looking for when you're smaller. All right, so some hiring best practices. What are some things that y'all do when you're hiring people? Just throw some things out there. Like here's an example of something. When we are hiring people, one of the first things that I want to do is make sure that we're hiring them with some type of a written letter or an offer, some agreement that's saying, hey, we want to hire you under these conditions, this amount of money, you're going to work this much on these days, here's the job description, those types of things. What do you think about that, Tom?
I think that's a great necessary practice. It's not even a good idea. It's necessary. I mean, what you're talking about is establishing expectations.
Expectations, huge. I know a lot of people don't do that. They just tell people when they interview them, oh, great, I think it would be awesome. Can you start tomorrow or can you start on Monday? And I think one of the ways that you can get more people to show up on that first day, if you struggle with that, is that making the offer letter and having them respond is super, super helpful. So if we're going to be talking about action steps, one of the action steps is create an offer letter. If you don't already have one, create a template that is the offer and says exactly what it is that you're offering. And just so that you can change the amount that you're paying, etc. But have that job description in there and have all of the stuff set. All right. As far as expectations, another thing that you can be doing to set expectations is a video or a PowerPoint that explains to everybody what exactly it is that they're going to be doing at your company, showing them a little bit about the job. So I know that there are quite a few people that will actually have a video of maybe their employees saying what they like about the job or what they don't, and but talking about the actual job. So, well, when we are doing vacant cleans, sometimes they're grimier and it's harder work, but this company is great because they pay us an extra 50 cents an hour when we clean vacants. I'm not recommending that. I'm not suggesting that if somebody heard me say that. But just a video saying with your people, showing what they do. Or I know a lot of companies that just have a PowerPoint that they send out that just shows, hey, here's a before and an after. Y'all are going to be doing that. This is what things look like before and after. This is a hard job. Again, setting the expectations there. Let's see. Onboarding paperwork. Yeah, Tom, that is a
Well,
great.
that's not a negotiable item either. I mean, that's usually a lot of that is dictated by law. You want to make sure that you're onboarding people legally, the I-9s, W-4s, terms of employment. A lot of states require you to have some type of document explaining, full-time, part-time, what are, the wages and other benefits and stuff. All of that really needs to be part of the formal onboarding paperwork as well.
And there are some other things in that onboarding, I think, that you can do that's not necessarily legal, but can make things a little bit easier for you. Maybe like your background checks or maybe drug tests. Sometimes you can do that stuff as part of, you bring them in, and this is how we bring you actually into the company. Did you have something to say about that, Tom?
No, I'm just thinking that, the basic mechanics of, onboarding. I mean, it's important that we follow them, but I think your real point here is making it easier for your new cleaning professional. You're sending a message, you're setting an expectation, and you want them to be excited about this new job, this new opportunity, and you want them to think this is going to be awesome and I'm going to love working here. And you don't want to screw it up, at this stage of the game. You got to get it right.
So I'm glad you said that, Tom, that you also want to make it appealing. So when I was talking about the video or the PowerPoint, I only talked about, like this is a hard job and this is a dirty toilet and you're going to be cleaning this. I only pointed out some of the negatives. Definitely want to be pointing out the positives more. Ideally, that sandwich method is really nice, right? Here's some great stuff about our company. Yeah, we clean toilets. And here's some more great stuff about our company. So getting that piece out there so it sounds like a good job. Also, it's nice if they have something that they can show to the people in their lives, because the people in their lives are going to want to know about the job that they're doing, so they have more information. Another thing that I know some people do is they give them go ahead.
Can you elaborate on that just a second? Because you said that quickly, but I think that's really often overlooked. How cool I think my job is only goes so far. A lot of how I feel about my job is how my friends and family feel about my job. And if I think it's awesome, that's one thing. But if my friends and family think it's awesome, then I think my job is super awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I think it's awesome, but everybody is telling me that it's not awesome and what's wrong with it, if I don't have some ammunition to hit back at them with about how great it is, and I can't come up with that stuff, they're going to wear me down. I'm not going to be feeling like it's an amazing job, a weekend.
Your employees want their friends and family to think they have an awesome job, and
Yep,
we need to make it easy for them to do that.
yep, absolutely. So you got to have stuff going on for them that make it look like it's a good job also. All right, so this also, the hiring piece is also where you might want to be thinking about how long are you hiring them for? Are you hiring them for a permanent position, a temporary position, a part-time position, full-time, like we were just talking about? And there is no one right answer. Sometimes, especially when a company is smaller, or they're trying to grow, to a different level, they might have to bring people on, maybe as a part-time person, but with the expectation that I'll have a full schedule for you within a certain amount of time. That might be a thing. So there are lots of different ways to be bringing people on. Also, this idea of the working interview. You want to talk about that a little bit, Tom? Because I tend to get myself in hot water with some people.
It's I guess it's another way of kind of getting expectations in alignment before hiring somebody. It's like let's go on a date before we get married type thing. It's you take a candidate and explain to them that, well, it might be in your best interest and our best interest for you to experience what it's like doing this job before leaving your current job and making a long-term commitment here, and just set up a day, 2 days. A lot of times it's easier to do in a day. When do you have a day off? And schedule that person, if they've got a job and they have a day off, let them come in and work for you today. Let them do it as an independent contractor. We have an agreement where, when we do this, that we're going to pay you this set amount for the day, and you're an independent contractor. And at the end of the day, we're going to give you a check and wish you luck. And it's going to be, maybe we'll hire you, maybe we won't. Maybe you'll want to work here, maybe you won't. But if it works out for both of us, then we'll make you an offer, and you can go ahead and put in notice at your other job. And a couple of weeks, you can come here and start working full time. And a lot of times you can get better candidates by doing it that way. I think
Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
No, it depends what your situation is too, though. If you need to hire like a person like right now today, a lot of times maybe the working interview isn't the best thing. Maybe you just need to offer somebody a job just to go ahead and get them in. Sometimes you don't always have the luxury of doing that, but if you're fully staffed and have the luxury of doing working interviews with candidates, that's not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, and Pam's making a good point. The different states have different ways of being able to do this legally. So in Texas, it looks like you have to call them a skills assessment instead of a working interview. Also here where I live, you can't do working interviews. We don't have working interviews, but we can hire people for temporary positions. And so that's what we do here. I want to point out too, that one of the reasons, if you are going to do this, if you're doing this, you want to know the reason behind this. So from the employee's perspective, you want them to feel a certain way. And how that is you want them to feel like they matter and what's important to them matters, that you're giving them the opportunity to decide whether or not this is a good job for them. So this goes to matter, making them feel like they matter in a job. So it can start this early by saying, listen, this is something that we do that's different than other people, other companies in this area, is we don't want to lock you into a job that you don't like. So we let you try it out. We spin it so that it's all about whether or not the job is going to be good for them. Doing this gets you into a situation where you don't have people that no call, no show. Did I say that right? You don't get those people. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of companies that have completely eliminated the no call, no show problem by doing this 1 day, 2 day, 3 day hire, where employees have a chance to decide for themselves whether or not it's a good job for them, a good fit. So it's easy for them to say at the end of day 1, day 2, like, you know what, thank you so much for letting me do this because I found out it's not a good fit for me. Here's all your stuff back. I don't need to steal your uniforms and walk away because I'm too embarrassed to tell you that this job is too hard, or, I just don't like it, or I think it's whatever, right? So if you're having a no call, no show problem, definitely think about how you can sort of work around that problem. If you're not having that problem, maybe you don't need this working interview, 3 day hire skills assessment thing that we're talking about. Ooh, Pam says, every time we skip the skills assessment, we end up with a bad hire. That's good information to have for you, Pam. Yay. That's awesome when you can figure out stuff like that, like, definitely tied to this thing. All right. So I was talking about how you can make them feel like they matter, with this, giving them this as an option for them. You can also, in this case, use this for some type of a measurement, right? So we're trying to bring matter, meaning, measure into the company whenever possible. So you can bring this in as a measurement, have them do a quick measurement of their skills. I like that you use the word skills. How they think they're doing on that day. How do they feel like they are stacking up? How do they even feel like they like it? They can measure that. How enjoyable is this job? How about meaning, Tom? Can you think of a way that you can bring meaning into this first hiring piece, where they can feel like there's some meaning in this?
Well, to some degree, part of this whole interview process is selling, the job to the candidate as well. You want them to want to work for you, and part of that is helping them understand why what we do is important. You're making a meaningful impact on people's lives. From a safety standpoint, you can argue that, not argue, I mean, it's true that cleaning is the first line of defense in fighting disease. There's a lot of health benefits. There's a lot of economic value that's being created, and we're a professional company, and the type of training we do, the type of tools that we use, and the way we go about doing it, it should be obvious that these guys are professionals, and they're cleaning in a way that if I just kind of casually clean my home, a couple times a month, it should be just completely new and different experience.
Yeah, so that it's not the same. Also, this is a really good example of like Steph's company that we're just talking about with Time in a Bottle, right? She does an exceptional job from day one, before day one, as part of the recruiting process, of showing people how they are so much more for the people that they work for than just going out and just cleaning up some stuff, not straightening and tidying, how they're making a huge impact and a difference in people's lives, people who are desperate for help in some of the worst situations of their lives. So I think that there are lots of opportunities to bring matter, meaning, measure, and accountability. The accountability piece here is just checking in, just checking in with them and checking in with you and doing what you said you would do. That's it. You said you were going to check in, see if they like the job, and then let them go if they don't, and hire them if they do. And also whether or not they work out for you, being accountable to what you actually need in your company, not getting sucked into, but she was so nice, or, but they've got 5 kids at her house and she really needs the money. That's not being accountable to your company. So the combination of, we're going to be hitting on this a lot, because if you hit matter, meaning, measure, and accountability at every stage, it becomes like a tether to your company. It's hard for people to leave your company because it hits on all of the things that really makes a job important. It's the thing that makes us love our jobs. Nobody loves their job because of the amount of money that they make. That might be a thing that they also like about their job, but they don't love their job because they make a lot of money. They love their job because they matter. They love their job because, oh my gosh, look what I'm doing. Look at the meaning in this job. They love their job because they feel good. They can see how well they're doing in the job or not, and where the improvement is. And they also love their job because there's true accountability for everybody. It feels so fair. People like to work somewhere where it feels fair, not, she's always treated better than her or me. Or so those 4 things we're going to be hitting on a lot. And here we are, top of the hour. We didn't even get through all the way through.
I think tomorrow maybe we want to take a minute and just build a slide out where we're defining what matter, meaning, measure, and accountability is, because that's a common thread through a lot of this. Just kind of define what you mean by each one of those four elements.
Sure. I'm sure I have maybe 50 of those slides already created through all the different decks. You should be pretty easy.
We can build our own.
There we go, right there. So actually, we only have 1 minute left. So I guess as far as this goes, how about anybody, what are some other hiring things that need to be considered? Anybody have anything else that you guys feel like needs to be considered for good hiring, best hiring practices, that you're going to get people that are going to want to stay? And it's not just going to be a churn and burn situation. Mm-hmm. If you have anything else, throw it on there. Otherwise, go ahead.
What do you think about swag? Like if there's somebody that you want to make an offer to, we've got a long list of things from lunch boxes to water bottles to stress relief squeezy toilets, and talking about the little things that can kind of make a job look cool. If somebody goes home with this bag full of swag that they got from this company that just made them a job offer, that's those are small things that in the minds of some people can make a big difference.
I actually think that's a big differentiator, Tom, here. I don't think it's even a really small thing at this stage. Swag is not appropriate everywhere. But it really is here. And a lot of times people have something, something fun that they might send out with on that first day too. I know a lot of people have these, I can't even think of what they're called, but they might have some aspirin in there, ice pack, kind of fun thing, funny type things, water, like a house cleaner survival kit type thing. So lots of different ways that you can do the swag or giving them something. So giving people something is like, wow, they're making an investment in me. Why would they make an investment in me? Wow, this must be an important job. I must really matter to this company. They must really want me. So I do love the swag. Anything else that you guys can think of that is awesome when you are hiring somebody?
You can drop it in the chat and we'll pick it up tomorrow.
Right. Because it's 3:01 or 6:01.
Okay, guys. Same time, 5 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. We'll pick it up. Have a good day. Bye-bye.